Today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Today is also Parshat VAERA, the second Torah portion in the book of Exodus. Let's just take a moment and connect those two very, very grand ideas and visions. And may today's Torah inspire us to get up, to get up, to get up and get moving, to learn the names of our neighbors, to find out what needs there are in the world that we are uniquely capable of responding to. Through the networks of UJA, we have been learning and doing, and today thousands of people, Jewish and non-Jewish, in our community will gather together to do good. But if we take Dr. King's message seriously, we cannot consider one day of service in answer to the needs. I hope that you'll go on YouTube and listen to speeches that Dr. King gave, and remember that he was murdered at 39. That young man changed the world. So can you. So can I. So important, friends. On this 714th broadcast, thank you, Benny. May we remember all the difference that we can make. That as Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, who we remembered last week, who was a dear friend of Dr. King's, taught us that we are fractions of God's infinite power. Well, that's a lot. That's a lot, friends. So a little bit of Torah, a quote from Dr. King, and an invitation, perhaps a little bit more than that, a nudge to go and fix the world. So, this week's Parsha, VAERA, finds Moses frustrated, so frustrated. The people that he has been called to serve and save and redeem, that people won't go, can't breathe in the freedom of his message. They just won't go, and Pharaoh won't listen. The world won't change. So he says to God, how can I? What do you want from me? How can I do this work? It's too heavy. It's too much. It's too much. And friends, I just want us to let in the truth of that. It's too much. We have to save our planet. It's too much. We have to fight institutional racism. It's too much. We have to fight corruption in politics and carelessness in our relationships. It's too much. We have to heal this world. It's too much. Of course it is. But that's the miracle, isn't it? It's too much. We stand no chance, as my teacher, Ruth Messenger, says often. She spoke prophetically yesterday on a UJA conversation. But she has said often, what makes relief work so incredible is that we know we will never meet the need, and we get started. Which is what we hear in Pirkei Avot 2,000 years ago. Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, velo ata ben chorin liyibatel mimena. It's not upon you, it's not upon me to finish the work, but that doesn't mean I'm free from starting it. We are called to get started. So when Moshe goes to God and says, I just can't, and we don't blame Moshe. After all, he was Moshe Rabbeinu. He was our teacher. He's Moses. Think about Dr. King saying just before he was killed, I may not make it to the promised land, but I can see it. What's God's response to Moshe here? God says at the very beginning of Parshat VAERA, VAERA el Avraham, el Yitzchak, ve'el Yaakov be'el Shaddai. I appeared to your ancestors as El Shaddai. Ushmi Adonai lo nodati lahem. But I did not make my name Adonai known to them. Think about what this means. Even Moshe's ancestors, even Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and Leah and Rachel, they only knew some of God. They only knew some of what was possible in the world. But you, Moshe, I will share more of me more of the divine potential because you're you. Friends, I don't think that's unique to Moshe, and I don't think that's unique to his struggle, and I don't blame the Israelites for being so hopeless. But friends, this is the teaching for today. The teaching for today is that there is more God. There's more love. There's more hope. There's more possibility. There's more strength. There is more action. There is more work. There is more service. There's more need. The power that you have, friends, to make a difference, it is divine. It is divine. Dr. King taught so much. In 1967, he taught these words: power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice. And justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love. The worst sin that we can do is to think that we are powerless. We are not. You are not powerless. And there's a need out there with your name on it. You can answer it. Before we close today, I really want you to think about one part of the world that is in deep need of healing. Yes, we have as a community been involved in the fight for justice for a very long time, in the fight for civil justice for a very long time, in the fight for environmental justice. We will not stop our work until it doesn't need to be done anymore, which in this world is never. There will always be a need, and therefore we will always show up. And that's love. That is power, and that is love. Justice is just another word for things as they should be. And you and I can do something about that. How blessed we are. Today, my family and I are going to be participating in a UJA project with AFIA, a beautiful organization dedicated to making sure that medical supplies get where they need to go. But there are countless ways to do it, and it cannot be just today. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. fought systemic problems by figuring out where to start the work. A bus boycott where it needed to happen. The right person, through the NAACP's profound training, the right person to not get up from a seat that was designated for a white person. All of this is thoughtful, methodical, unceasing, tenacious, and all in the name of love. You, friends, you've got that in you too. Dr. King's story is not to be appropriated as a tool for self-satisfaction by the established, by the well-off, by the privileged. His words were honed sharp by the depth of his righteous rage. So friends, let's get a little bit angry. Let's get angry. And let's also not let anger turn us mean. Righteous indignation at the world as it is actually an invitation to go do something good for somebody else. We must learn to live together as sisters and brothers, or perish together as fools, said Dr. King. We've got work to do. Thank God. Thank God, thank God. May we learn to reach for that which is high. May we be blessed to pursue justice with all our hearts. May we remember the power of our convictions to change the world, and may we be blessed to stand together now and for eternity with overflowing unconditional love. Bless you, friends. Let's get to work. Bless you, friends. See you soon. Let's have a good day doing something for somebody else.